5 seconds. Start. Dear citizens, as you are aware that the water wars between two states of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu are not new. Both states have been fighting for many decades, and despite many meetings, negotiations, mediations, and adjudications, the dispute continues. What is interesting and rather surprising is the numerous times that the Supreme Court has exercised jurisdiction in this matter. In the past, it has been argued that the Supreme Court has encouraged litigation by not dealing with the questions of its jurisdiction. However, we try to ascertain that in the light of the existing constitutional and legal provisions, the court does not have any power to exercise original or appellate jurisdiction to hear the Kaveri dispute. The Supreme Court in 1990 directed creation of a special tribunal to hear and resolve the Kaveri water dispute. The Kaveri Water Disputes Tribunal was created by the central government under the Interstate Water Disputes Act. As per the Act, the tribunal is a specialized body empowered to hear disputes relating to Kaveri water sharing between two or more states that involve use, distribution, control, or water's interpretation of agreements relating to the issue and of disputes relating to levy of water rate. The Kaveri dispute was referred to the tribunal, rightly so, as the Supreme Court felt that it did not have the expertise and resources to judge such a dispute, which involved complex questions like study of rivers, geology, ecosciences, farmers' needs, etc. In fact, the Act also bars the Supreme Court or and other court from exercising jurisdiction over any matter that has been referred to the tribunal. In view of these explicit provisions, the Supreme Court has in the past refrained from entertaining matters that were referred to the tribunal. While dealing with issues of similar kind, the Supreme Court has explicitly stated that the constitutional framers empowered Parliament to exclude jurisdictions of all courts in such disputes. Perhaps it could be argued that even though the said judgments make it clear that the Supreme Court does not have the jurisdiction to hear these disputes in the first instance, the question of whether the Supreme Court can entertain appeals against the verdict is still open. However, this may not be true, as the Act also specifies that the decision of the tribunal, once notified in the Government Gazette, will have the same force as an order or decree of the Supreme Court. This implies that once a decision is notified by the tribunal, it will be as if the Supreme Court has passed that decision. In view of these provisions, can the Supreme Court then entertain appeal of its own decision? Perhaps not. It is rather regrettable that the Supreme Court has ignored these legal provisions and allowed the petitions against the orders. If the law was followed in its original or district sense, the sides agreed, particularly when the dispute was strongly contested and argued by both the sides. However, that alone does not warrant revising merits of that dispute. At best, a substantial change in circumstance could be a ground to seek review or clarifications from the tribunal on its order, but not be a reason for the Supreme Court's interference. Perhaps in the present times of involvement, judicial limit of some form will be welcome. Thanking you, I remain yours, the Honorable Secretary. It gives me immense pleasure to inform that I was proud to be a participant as a life member in the recently concluded annual general meeting held in this month. I am also glad that I was an active participant in the extraordinary general body meeting held on the same day subsequent to this meeting. Although I wish to suggest some information on membership drive at that meeting that could not be materialized as I was busy at that particular time by attending to one urgent call. Hence, I wish to submit that piece of information now with a request to consider the same. Anyway, as the centenary celebration is fast approaching and as all the newly elected members could steer the celebration well, I request you to identify a coordinator on honorarium basis in each and every district from among the prominent persons in a commercial institute or an employee in a central or state government of that particular district to look after the affairs of the association locally as could be required by the association from time to time for the purpose of membership drive as well as to other things connected to the affairs of the association. Besides, you can also utilize them for the work connected with the centenary celebration later on. I am also eagerly waiting for a suitable time to visit the newly housed association premises. Thanking you, yours faithfully.